you to Congressman Gottheimer for standing up against the administration's decision to terminate the Gateway Project funding and for continuing to fight for critical investments in our region's infrastructure and economy. Thank you so much, Congressman, for your partnership and for your advocacy for folks here in Glen Rock and across the district. And I'd also like to welcome Mayor Mishkagana to give the pledge. Thank you.
Pete?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm now very happy to welcome up our phenomenal Assemblywoman who crushes it, not just on transportation, but is a huge supporter of the men and women of labor, a great friend and a great leader, Lisa Swain.
Thank you, Congressman. Thank you all for being here today, gathered at a local train station, a place where thousands of hardworking New Jerseyans frequently begin and end their days. As we all know, the Trump administration has made a vindictive and detrimental decision without even the courtesy of a warning to New Jersey Transit or NJDOT to freeze billions of dollars in federal funding for the Gateway Project, which is intended to expand and rebuild the Trans-Hudson Tunnel system. New Jersey Transit's Northeast Corridor line is one of the busiest commuter rail lines in the nation. It runs through these exact tunnels every day, carrying with them thousands of New Jerseyans who have long begrudgingly endured severe delays, breakdowns, and overcrowding during their daily commutes. These tunnels are more than a century old, and the need for major renovations only increased after Hurricane Sandy caused extensive damage over a decade ago. The Obama administration had previously called the Gateway Project the most vital piece of infrastructure that needs to be built in the United States. New Jersey is already rated as having amongst the worst commutes in the entire country. Workers, families, parents spend hours of their lives at standstill, missing irreplaceable moments with their loved ones, entirely at the mercy of rail infrastructure that should have been replaced years ago. The Gateway Project will not only double train capacity and improve commuter conditions and efficiency, it guarantees good-paying construction jobs for years to come for local laborers like the ones standing here today. It means the most vital and prominent competitiveness, productivity. It strengthens our economic corridors in the United States. It should be clear to everyone that this funding freeze has nothing to do with fiscal responsibility. It's about political retribution through and through from an administration that long ago abandoned decency in governance and continues to show no concern or empathy for the livelihoods it chooses to gamble with. With reckless decisions like these, it's not President Trump's political opponents in Congress who will pay the biggest price. It's the people of District 38, the people of Bergen and Hudson and Passaic County and every community where friends and neighbors rise as early as possible to board a train that's already too crowded, too tardy, and too unreliable. We are all here today to say that New Jersey will not be punished or used as a pawn in a political game. On behalf of our commuters, our workers, our unions, our families, and all New Jersey residents, we are going to fight for this project and make sure that Washington funds the infrastructure they promised to help us fix. Thank you very much.
Excellent, Liz. I'm now very happy to introduce from Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill's office. Shala's here to read a few remarks. Thank you so much.
Hello, and thank you all for coming out today to show your support of the Gateway Tunnel, the most crucial infrastructure project in the country. While Congresswoman Cheryl's schedule did not allow her to be here today, she did ask me to share the following statement on her behalf. Right now, Donald Trump is attacking New Jerseyans for cheap political points. Let's be clear. Threatening $18 billion for the Gateway project is illegal. It is an attack on our economy, and it jeopardizes the livelihoods of thousands of our residents. This project will employ roughly 100,000 workers in the region. In addition to those working on the project itself, there are nearly 200,000 daily commuters utilizing the tunnels between the New Jersey and New York City that need safe and reliable transportation. The outdated infrastructure we see on our transit lines today are not getting the job done, especially when commuters face a summer of hell year after year, and we know how badly the Hudson River tunnels were damaged during Superstorm Sandy. The President told every New Jersey commuter that this project is terminated. Commuters who deserve a reliable way to get to and from work every day, to make it to pick up their child from school, or make it home to a doctor's appointment. The President promised to make life better for New Jerseyans, but instead he is telling New Jersey commuters that he doesn't care. He doesn't care about your family, he doesn't care about investing in infrastructure, and he certainly doesn't care about your commute. As the tunnel-obsessed Congresswoman, I fought for years to make this project a reality. This fight won't stop just because the President said so. I'll keep fighting tooth and nail until the funding is restored and the Gateway Tunnel is finished.
And now a legend of labor, a man who needs only a little introduction because he came from Hudson County to get here. We gave him a visa for 1 hour. But we're very honored that President Kelleher is here today to share with us why killing this project will not only kill jobs in Jersey for hardworking men and women of labor, but it'll crush commuters and people who need to get in and out of New York and in and around Jersey. And now, Mr. President.
You got my name already, yeah? Good morning, everybody. And I vote for Josh all the time in my district, all right? Even though I'm down in Hudson County, I live up in Bergen County. But anyway, like you said, I can reiterate what the Assemblywoman said and what the other person said about Mickey Sherrill Spokesman. The importance of this project, it's a game changer. Congressman Gottheimer talking about congestion pricing, congestion, there's cars, vehicles. You're going to double the capacity. One of the biggest infrastructure projects in the country, and it's in Hudson County, but not much part of Hudson County, Essex County, Bergen County. All these rails are getting upgraded. You got the Bayonne Bridge, you got the New Jersey Turnpike. But this project, for how many years? They say it's 15, now I'm talking 20 years, close to 20, went from $15 billion to 16 to $20 billion. Well, listen, it's going to change everything. For the structure of people going into the city and people from the city come to New Jersey. The construction trades, we thank Josh, we thank all the politicians in Hudson County, Bob Menendez, Senator Kim, and all the politicians, all the mayors.
You know how much work it took for me to bring this in exactly for you?
The importance of everybody working together to move this ahead. I think a project like this should never be stopped. And the conversation is putting people, politicians in bad ways in conversation. It's about people's lives and changing people's lives. You got the Holland Tunnel, you got the Lincoln Tunnel, you got your George Washington Bridge. Hundred years old, these infrastructure coming through. They need to be replaced. Building the Gateway Tunnel will change everything. And the construction trades from Hudson, Bergen County that are here today, they have men and women and opportunities to be on these projects and build this project. So, like you said, I commend Congressman Gottheimer and all the politicians in Hudson, Bergen County, and the state of New Jersey, because it's not just Hudson County, Bergen County, it's everybody can win from this. And I thank you all for being here today. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you, President Kelleher, for making the point that we should be making every day of how important this is for all of us. I can't thank enough the men and women of labor for being here. You've got behind me representatives from the Hudson and Bergen County, of course, Labor and Trades Council. You've got, just to give you a sense, dock builders, IBEW, Teamsters, plumbers, SMART, Local 137 and 167 iron workers, Leona 3, sheet metal workers, carpenters, pipe fitters, all here. You heard from Keith Mashagna, who's not just a mayor of Park Ridge, but also at 164, an electrician, IBEW. You heard from Lisa, and you see why she's so effective at her job and such an important representative. We're also very lucky to be joined by Assemblywoman Hayter, who's also here. Assemblywoman, thank you as well for your incredible leadership. We've got a great mayor of Bergenfield who does an amazing job. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. Mayor Antoro is an incredible leader in a town that just continues to grow and do really smart things. Laura Bustamante from Andy Kim's office is here as well. Thank you so much, Laura. Shala, thank you for your remarks and what you had to say. Really, really grateful. And Councilman, thanks for welcoming us to this great community. It's always good to be in Glen Rock. It's a beautiful place to live and raise a family. It's got a huge advantage with this rail right behind us here. And the chief of police is here and his team is here as well. And they protect this community and do an incredible job, but it's a great place to raise a family. And one of the reasons is because you have this great train to be able to get to and from work, right? We know, President Gallagher mentioned the congestion tax and how that screwed over a lot of Jersey families and a lot of people who commute. And so people have to rely more on these trains than ever before. And to now stick it to people on the trains makes no sense. It is day 23 of the government shutdown, day 23 of flight cancellations and delays, day 23 of frozen infrastructure projects like roads and bridges. And President Trump, for some reason, won't even take a meeting with us to try to end the shutdown and reopen the government. Health insurance premiums will be up, on average 18% or more next year, and we have a way to help bring them down for millions of people. If we don't fix it, scores of families won't be able to afford their health insurance. Others will have their premiums go up by about $20,000 or more in a year for a family of 4 in Jersey next year. The White House has said this shutdown is costing our country $15 billion in lost GDP every single week. Yet all we're asking for is for the president to meet with us to work out a deal. Let's reopen the government. But instead, he seems to be just interested in slashing and burning the place down. Between the shutdown and the president's threats, $18 billion of key infrastructure projects around the tri-state area are at risk of being canceled or massively delayed. That will have a massive impact on our economy here in northern New Jersey, on families, and on the hardworking men and women of labor who are represented behind me. The biggest impact, of course, is the number one thing we're talking about today, the 115-year-old train tunnel underneath the Hudson, the Gateway Train Project. You got to understand, as President Gallagher said and others have said and Lisa talked about, we've been working on this for decades, right? Decades. It's finally getting built. Yet just last week, during the government shutdown, Trump uttered the unthinkable, that the Gateway Project was, quote, terminated, ended. As a reminder, the Gateway Train Tunnel Project dates back and broke ground in 2023 and will ultimately add 2 new train tunnels under the Hudson River and fix the 2 existing crumbling train tunnels that are there now. It will add significant rail capacity for Jersey families. It's how New Jersey Transit and Amtrak trains get from Jersey into New York, carrying 200,000 commuters to work and home every single day, plus those traveling to see friends and loved ones or go to a doctor's appointment. It's a key connection point for 20% of our nation's GDP. It's the only way in and out of New York for Jersey commuter trains. It's the only way. And as many of you know and experience, New Jersey has the 3rd worst commute times in the country. So building these new train tunnels is key to making the commutes easier for scores of families. The tunnels were actually completed in 1908. 1908. That's incredible. Lisa wasn't even born then. It became operational in 1910 when Teddy Roosevelt was the president. So you can imagine, we desperately need this update. If he goes through with it, President Trump's impulsive, rash, and ridiculous decision to terminate the Gateway Project would be a sledgehammer to families, to our economy, to American competitiveness, and to tens of thousands of labor jobs, including the brothers and sisters of labor who are standing here. The best men and women of labor in the United States of America are behind me. And you want to F with them and blow this up? Why would you do that? Why would you mess not only with the jobs to build this infrastructure, but why would you F with the incredible impact, the economic impact this is going to have on our great state? The Gateway Project helps create more than 95,000 jobs, plus the thousands of jobs it'll create from new businesses that will move to Jersey. This is an investment that not only help fix the tunnels, but also build the Portal North Bridge that leads to them, which is under construction. And it's a project that has massive bipartisan support. And that was approved and funded by Congress in the bipartisan infrastructure bill that I proudly helped write, negotiate, and pass through the halls of Congress. Trump's only role in this is to sign the paperwork, to keep the ongoing project on track. And he's apparently decided, for some reason, on a whim, just to tear it up. We can't let him just blow up this project, and that's why we're here today, to urge him to reverse course, to do the right thing, to keep this project moving forward. To put a finer point on it, right now there are only 2 tunnels, as we talked about, going into the city, one in and one out. We get 24 trains in and out of New York City in an hour, and less than half of that on the weekends, when one of the ancient tunnels is usually down for repairs. If one of these tunnels were to completely collapse, God forbid, or just go out of service, it would have a devastating impact on the economy in the region and the country. Closing one tube of the 2 costs the U.S. economy $100 million a day, or $36.5 billion a year in lost productivity, and the impact on jobs and home values. The latest data show that the trains passing through the North River Tunnel were delayed nearly 2 out of every 3 days. The number one cause? Faulty infrastructure. So the hardworking men and women of labor that we're standing with have been working to fix it, proudly, making huge progress on getting this project on track and moving forward to building these new tunnels into New York. It's on pace to be completed by 2035 and by 2038 for the full rehabilitation of the 2 old ones and the 2 new ones. Imagine how much more capacity that will add for families, more trains out of here, more stops. Here's the good news. Right now, the Gateway Project has been using saved up dollars to keep the project turned on. But if Trump doesn't reverse himself and allow the funding of Gateway to continue, we will have a huge disaster on our hands for Jersey and our country. We will run out of cash for this project. They'll have to put the equipment down. They'll have to stop work. Our competitors on the international stage will laugh at us and say, what are you doing there in the United States? France, Germany, Japan, and the UK spend about double as much as we do on transportation, while China spends 10 times more. Our infrastructure is rated 7th in the world. That's why we got to fix this stuff, so we can get more of those on the tracks, getting into New York on time. We're the greatest country in the world. How can we not make sure we've got the greatest infrastructure in the world? You can't entice 21st century companies to set up shop or stay here with 20th century infrastructure. And we're on path to fix it. We can't let partisan politics get in the way of this. It's, as Lisa said, it's not a cost issue. The resources are there. This is not some sort of new fiscal responsibility issue. They've been fiscally responsible in the way they're building this. They got the best workers in America behind us building this. They know exactly what they're doing. They know how to build stuff that lasts. You can't stop this project. So here's what we're going to do about it, and why we're not making a few announcements today to keep the Gateway Train project moving forward, to make sure these tunnels keep getting built, that the bridge is going to it, keep getting built. First, along with the New Jersey Democratic delegation, all of them, I just sending a letter to President Trump and U.S. Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy, demanding that the administration stop this attack on Jersey commuters and our country's economy, and to immediately restore funding for the Gateway Train Tunnel. They must keep this vital project on track without any additional delays. Any other path is just insane. Don't F with the Gateway Train project. That's all we're asking. Keep it moving. Keep these trains moving. Second, I'm sending a letter to the Secretary of Labor and Transportation Infrastructure Committees in the United States House and Senate, calling them to stand with us in our fight to protect the hardworking men and women of labor, to fix our country's crumbling infrastructure, and to ensure the Trump administration ends all this chaos instead of ending the Gateway Project. Finally, I'm asking New Jersey Transit and Amtrak to fully outline for Congress the current and potential impact of the shutdown on the Gateway Project, the effects of cutting off funding on the Gateway train tunnel's timeline, and what it will mean for transportation in the region. How long can the current tunnels survive? And what will we do if they go down, if we don't get this project moving? How will people get to work? How many jobs will be affected? In other words, we need a full sense from those on the ground how halting this critical project will affect not just their pocketbooks, but also the lives of our families. The bottom line is this: you can't have a first-rate state like Jersey with a second-class infrastructure. Besides completing the Gateway train tunnel project, we got to keep moving forward on all these projects that the men and women of labor built. The roads, the bridges, water infrastructure. This is not a partisan issue. That's why we passed the bipartisan infrastructure bill, because you got Democrats and Republicans who agree. This just has to get done. We can't afford to wait any longer. We can't afford another year of crumbling roads and bridges and tunnels and failed transportation. We can't allow this shutdown to go on, putting at risk all those projects, including the Gateway train tunnel. So I've asked the Speaker of the House, bring us back into session every single week until we figure this out. I was in Washington again yesterday. I've been there every week since the shutdown, working with my colleagues on both sides to find a way forward. I'm asking the President, please sit down with us. Let's work this out. There's no reason why we can't find a way forward here. I know we can. I've always believed in working together to solve problems for this country. This is a problem that we can solve. The answer is not to stop it, to pull it back, to terminate it. None of that makes any sense. You don't crush progress. You don't mess with the men and women of labor, but you don't mess with Jersey families. We live in the greatest country in the world. There's no reason if we don't work together, our best days can't be ahead of us. Thank you so much, and God bless.